TNT Rush.
Akainu is the strongest unit in OPBR, and here's why. So we have seen Akainu been running around the game and destroying the enemies at first glance. And how is he doing it? We have to consider his two skills first. He does have two skills. Number one skill would be the Crimson Counter Bite, which deposits the high damage on the enemy, which also one-shots the enemy. And for the second skill, he has this one, Meteor Volcano, as also been showing here, and it causes very high damage again to the enemies, and also it one-shots them. We have to know one thing about Akainu here is, being a red attacker, he has a elemental advantage over the green Roger. So what we are proposing here is that Akainu is essentially stronger than Gol.d Roger. So hear me out why I'm saying this as you're watching this gameplay over here. So because if you consider Akainu, he is temporarily invincible after the use of skill 2. That's why it's required for the high attack units to have to destroy his invincibility shield by getting closer. And getting closer is by no means an easy task. And as for his skill 1, which is a long-range knockback attack, it has a far larger range than Kamusarai, which is the finisher move of Gol.d Roger. If he didn't one-shot the person, it will send you flying anyways. So there's also the matter of his other speciality. Specifically, I'm talking about his attack, which increases with each incineration effect when he inflicts on other players. So that's why we have been seeing he's been doing a lot of damage in OPBR games, whether they are regular players, whether they are hackers. Interestingly, he also heals upon killing an enemy, reduces the cooldown of skill 1. So you see he has an advantage over most of the players, and he also has these healing kind of abilities with himself, which makes him an even more OP character in this game. So for example, if enemy attack is too high, it also reduces the damage received. So overall, that's why I have been saying that the character traits are more OP than skills, which is the opposite of Gol.d Roger, and that's why we can say that in a sense, Akainu is stronger than Gol.d Roger. So that's also one of the concerns whether the audience, whether the players in the OPBR have been all this time, whether who is stronger, Akainu, Roger, and Luffy, or Kaido. So how are we going to rank it? So by this, we can say that Akainu is easily being on the number 1 spot, following up with Luffy, and then we've got this, maybe we can put Kaido. Roger is by no means even in top 3 if you don't have the sufficient skills and you don't have the acquired skills to compete in higher rankings. So that's what's the comment I would like to put on Akainu. And as we have been seeing that he has been showing a very strong effect on overall OPBR community, and as we are seeing in this gameplay where Roger is running and getting his treasure, and you can see that Akainu is on my team as well, and the opposite team does not have Akainu yet. So what that will mean is that my team, which is the blue team, will essentially have more advantage over the opposite rival team, because as you can see, as for mention, I mentioned that the top 3 would be like Luffy, Akainu, Kaido, and now Roger is the 4th, so all of the top 4 members are in my team. Still, it does not guarantee whether you are gonna win this match or you're gonna like one-shot everybody. It also depends on their skills and methods. As you can see, Odin was stronger when he was fighting one-on-one with Roger, and he is still not giving up, showing his bravery against King Roger here. And again, it points out the fact that whenever somebody sees these X characters or the top 5 or 6 characters, the players immediately run away, thinking that it would be a waste of time to even face against them and go head-to-head with them. What I would suggest is that most of the characters, given with their right levels and medals, they could at least do some damage to these X characters, which will eventually help your team as well. Remember, this is a team game, it's not about individual game, so if you cannot beat these OP X characters in the game, what I would suggest is that you go and support your team using your characters, whatever you are using. In that sense, you will be securing the positions of not only yourself but also all of your members. And let's see, can I charge the Kamusara? KO, here goes, one shot. So you see, I'm not saying that Roger is weak or something like that, but he's still very strong using his Kamusara. You can see he one-shots everyone on this pathway. So you see CP0 Solushi is also trying to face against my Roger here, and then it failed. Okay, let's see what USK is doing over there. He's fighting against CP0's member, Luffy. And then here's go my Kamisarai. It didn't hit anybody, it seems like. Oh, it was Kaido. I wasn't so sure about that. So let's see what we can do about that. So that's why there are some people blaming that these characters are way too strong. We should not be playing with them. We should boycott them. It's really unfair that they have the so-called least um, capable characters in their hands. But um, that's true for the whole overall like, PBR community. Everybody's having a hard time, except for the hackers. So if you talk about hackers, of course they have an advantage. They have their own guild. They're cheating. Of course they're gonna do some like unfair stuff there. But also, as I mentioned in my last commentary video, I've mentioned that there will be hacker policy soon, and later that evening, Bandai and the official OPBR company, they have announced that they will be looking strictly into this manner, and they have taken this matter seriously. So we are seeing they have started to progress, because everywhere you go on to Twitter, you go on to Play Store, even different gameplay reviews or whatever that is, even on YouTube, you will see that everybody is against the hackers, whether it is Western players or even the Japanese players themselves. They are also complaining everywhere. So it was about a matter of time when they introduced this kind of policy. Again, I would say that it would not immediately reduce the hackers in OPBR, but I would say that we have to be optimistic here that maybe there will be more stricter hacker policy in the later time. Okay, moving on to the next very important topic I would like to talk about is basically my predictions, or one would say it's recommendations, because OPBR has been here for a long time, and what we see is that while the game is really fun to play, it is not that unique, or it is not that attractive to play anymore. What I mean is that we only got few stages, and then the events are repetitive, and what we are doing is essentially the same with different characters, and they occasionally introduce new characters, and then we go and summon them and we try them out, and it goes on. And most of the time, if one is lucky and he summons Roger, Akainu, these strong characters, they won't even use the remaining inventory of characters they have. For example, there are tons of Luffy, there are tons of other side characters, there are tons of even Usohachi. It was released recently, and not many people are using him anymore. There's also JOZU, there's also shiryu. There was a hype on the first 2 or 3 days, and then follow up there was nothing anymore. So what I would like to suggest is maybe there could be different stages which force you in a way to use these different characters, and